Getting Monster Hunter Wilds multiplayer up and running was its own challenge to begin with. But now, since we all kind of understood how all those systems play together, let's have a look at all the hidden tips and tricks that can bring your co-op experience to the next level. After all, you definitely don't want to be that person who joins a hunt via SOS Flare only to get embarrassingly carted just moments later. All our tips are tailored to group play, everything you need to know to become the Monster Hunter Wilds MVP. Most valuable party member. Or maybe that MVP title goes to your monster vanquishing Palico. Whatever path you choose, here are our 8 top tips.
Alright, let's start with something deceptively simple. Team size. You would think more hunters equals better, right? Not always. In Monster Hunter Wilds, you can party up to 4 players. Now, while we won't be focusing on single-player runs, it's a solid baseline for comparison. So let's talk 2-player parties. This setup lets you bring along your Palicos, because each one takes 1 slot, making it a theoretical party size of 4. But here's the catch. Monster scaling stays balanced for just 2 hunters. At the start of your hunting career, you might look at your Palico and think, cute, but are you actually doing anything? And okay, fair enough. Early on, they're more cheerleader than champion. But shame on you, it's trying its best. As you rank up, so does your body. And suddenly, it's doing more than just looking adorable. Cure status effects? Check. Taunt and trap monsters? Check. Stealing loot from monsters, buffing your damage, and resurrecting you from the grave like a tiny furry necromancer. Big check. Especially the resurrection can come in handy, as this won't count towards your feint counter. Just beware that it has a high cooldown, so it might not be ready if you get wiped from the battlefield too often. The more important it is to keep the Palico's gear up to date. Their survival depends on it. And we also don't want to see you shout at your fainted fellow for heals mid-fight. The good news is, Palico gear is usually light on the resources, so it won't sabotage your next weapon upgrade. Now here's where it gets tactical. As soon as you invite a 3rd player, your Palicos peace out. They have got union rules or something. Same goes if you call NPCs support hunters with an SOS flare. So with 3 players, no furry sidekicks. You will need to decide, is your extra friend worth saying goodbye to the little meowster? Probably not. Sorry Greg. The game does dynamically scale difficulty based on party size. Enemies' health pools go up, and so do the break thresholds for monster parts. But don't worry, it's not a linear curve. Oddly enough, it gets easier the more hunters are involved. So there is strength in numbers. So if you want to take advantage of that and always hunt in a 4-person squad while being short on party members, nothing easier than that. Just light that SOS flare and call in other people or NPC support hunters. You can set this up at Alma, selecting between humans only, NPCs only, or a mix of both. Human players will usually pull more weight than NPCs, hopefully, but at least NPCs don't contribute to the feint counter, which might just save the hunt.
Alrighty, let's talk gear. Because showing up to a monster hunt in your pajamas is a bold move and not the kind of bold we recommend. There's gear out there that doesn't just protect your squishy bits, it actually makes the whole team better. Like the skill Wide Range. It's got 5 levels and shows up on armor, charms and decorations, making it super flexible for builds. At max level, whenever you chug a potion, your teammates also get healed for the same amount. So yeah, you can play combat medic from a safe distance while they are getting chased by a tempered Rathalos. It's both hilarious and actually helpful. Then we've got Alluring Pelt. Sounds cozy, right? That's because it is. And monsters agree. These seemingly fluffy armor pieces come from beasts like the Ajarakan, Arkveld, Doshagama, Blango and Konga. Slap on 3 pieces and voila! You activate Diversion, which basically puts a big hit me sign on your back whenever you attack. Perfect for tanky play, letting your glass cannon buddies do their thing safely. Or let someone less experienced tag along safely, your call. Now here's a wild one, Warcry. It's a skill exclusive to Blango sets and adds a bit of roleplay flair to your fights. Every time you use the 2 victory gesture, your party gets an attack buff that lasts for 3 whole minutes. Bonus tip, it scales even harder if you're using it on support hunters or palicos. And you only need at least 2 pieces to unlock it, or 4 for a bigger bonus. One more neat trick, loadouts. Yeah, those presets you use for items and gear. You can share them. So if you've got a buddy still stuck in the "what does defense do" phase, just shoot them your build. Instant glow up. Speaking of gearing, if you're struggling to fit in all the skills you want, don't forget about decorations. Vio over in Suja handles that. And when you hit Hunter rank 100, she unlocks even more recipes to help tailor your loadout. Also, a quick note on the use of lucky vouchers during missions. They don't stack in a group, but they also don't go to waste. They only apply to the person using them. So in the end, it's really just up to you whether you want to use them or not.
Now we are diving into the spicy stuff. Status effects. Whether you're buffing your team or making monsters cry, there's a lot of potential here. There are 7 main ailments in Wilds: sleep, poison, blast blight, paralysis, exhaustion, flash blind, and of course, wound-based CC, which we will get to in a second. Sleep is kind of awkward in co-op. The first hit after sleep does double damage, sure, but unless your whole squad has perfect timing or telepathy, it's probably gonna get wasted. So save that one for the big number screenshots during single player hunts. Poison and blast blight both deal damage over time, but in different ways. Poison stacks up damage nicely, but blast blight procs more often and causes stagger when it triggers, which, let's be honest, is way more fun. Paralysis? Now we're talking. It freezes monsters in place and opens them up for a beatdown, which is super effective when you're all on the same page. There is also exhaustion, caused by blunt weapons like hammers and hunting horns. An exhausted monster attacks far less and basically stands still. Easy pickings for slower, heavier weapons in your group. Flash blind, on the other hand, is more of a panic button. It's an instant stagger, great for saving your butt or interrupting an attack. For maximum synergy in your group, don't double up on the same ailment. Monsters build resistances to them with every proc, and that resistance is shared across the entire fight, not per hunter. So, if everyone is running poison, you're just making it harder for each other. Mix it up. Think of it like a band. Everyone plays a different instrument, so the song doesn't sound like 4 people banging drums. Oh, and pro tip, status application are based on hit count, not damage. So fast weapons apply them quicker, even if they hit like wet noodles. Save your heavy CCs like paralysis or flash for later in the fight. Monsters get meaner the closer they are to death, and you will want those crowd controls when things are getting spicy. Just be mindful, status effects can interfere with mounts and power clashes. If you paralyze a monster right as someone mounts it, they will get ungracefully booted off. That's not a great way to make friends. Finally, make sure that the monster you're hunting is actually vulnerable to the ailments you're using. If you are trying to flash an already blind Gormagala as a last resort, that's going to end badly for you. Now let's talk wounds for a second. Not technically a status effect, but an excellent crowd control. If you hit the same part of a monster often or hard enough, it will create a wound and start to glow in focus mode. Wounds transition from a tear to an open wound, then eventually to a scar after their destruction. Once open, you can either destroy the wound with a focus strike or hit it normally for bonus damage. Destroying a wound rewards bonus loot and staggers the monster a bit. Destroy enough of them and you will lock a monster down just like paralysis, but without the diminishing returns. Just be careful not to destroy them too early. You want to reap some of the bonus damage first. Coordination with your group is key, but don't wait too long, as wounds have their own timer and do close after a while. So don't dilly-dally.
Speaking of wounds, let's transition into weapon synergies. Because some players really like to fight over who will get that glowing red spot. But not everyone profits from destroying them the same. So it's important to know who does the most. Dual blades, for example, can erase all current wounds with one focus strike. Super satisfying, but maybe don't bring 3 of them. Longswords get a damage boost after destroying wounds, and insect glaives and charge blades recharge their energy on wound destruction. So yeah, these weapons clash more than they cooperate. If everyone's racing to break wounds, nobody gets the full benefit. So it's probably in your own interest to limit your group to one wound-hungry weapon so everyone gets to shine. Now let's talk about synergizing weapons. Hunting horns are the rock stars of party play. They deal decent damage, can inflict 2 status effects at once, these being exhaustion and another one of your choice, and also provide team-wide buffs non-stop. More attacks, speed or fire resistance, the horn has got it all. Bowguns are another solid team player. Depending on your ammo, you can drop healing clouds, boost attack or bolster defense. Very handy when you're acting as the party's ranged support that can also keep an eye out for the environment. And finally, if you're using diversion and pulling all the aggro, consider grabbing a sword and shield. It's durable, mobile, and great for engaging in power clashes. And it's not just sword and shield. Gun lance and lance work just as well. Nail a perfect guard and you'll trigger a power clash with the monster. Win it, and the whole squad gets a free damage window on a knockdown monster. It looks extremely cool and kinda unrealistic too. Just remember, power clashes and monster mounts have internal cooldowns. The more you trigger them, the longer you'll have to wait for the next one.
But as they say, speech is silver, silence is golden. And that must be the large monster's motto as well. Tempered Mitsutsune really does want you to remain silent, eternally. To prevent failing the quest after carting 3 times normally, or 4 times if you follow our food recommendations, wink wink, there is still a lot more you can do. You can get out of a tight spot pretty quickly by trying to dodge roll. This is an iframe movement, meaning you will not get damaged while performing the dodge animation, but you will after it ended. If you find yourself pinned against a wall, not able to dodge sideways, we are talking New Udra's tentacles for example. Use a slide attack if your class has one. For sword and shield for example, performing a slide swipe will have you slide below the monster's belly. It helps to disable the auto-targeting too, or else you might end up circling the monster with the forced camera movement. If you got knocked down or stunned, call your sacred and they will come and pick you up. Right to safety if you're lucky, or straight into the monster's next attack if you share our luck. When fighting in the open and closing in on your next or last card, you or your teammates can try to have the monster disengage by using a dung pot. This way they will retreat and move to the next area, leaving you time to get your health back up and regroup. If you see yourself or your teammate dangerously low and facing an impending card, try a flash pot to disrupt the monster's attack. As long as they can be flashed, this will blind them, like this Arkwelt here, as he's doing what we call the noodly arms. If you didn't know, you can also aim your slinger while your weapon is sheathed. Just make sure you're in focus mode, then use middle mouse button or L2 and L3 with controllers, or the matching input if you remap them. This allows for faster reactions because you won't have to sheath your weapon first. Again, disable auto-targeting for best results. And if everything fails and you really need to get away, by all means use a Farcaster. This will instantly call your Windrake and get you out safely, back to the next camp. As soon as you press it, you're invulnerable to all damage. The downside, you can only carry one at a time, so don't forget to restock back at the camp. If you and your group do not mind, another strategy to play it safe is capturing the monster instead of killing it. That is, if you're getting low on cards. This can save you a couple of minutes, which is more than enough to fail the quest if you are unlucky. Just make sure the person who started the hunt is okay with it, or you might face some negativity, as this is part of the unspoken Monster Hunter etiquette.
A hearty meal is a fundamental part of a hunter's success. But if you're just grilling whatever you find on the ground and calling it a hunt, your whole group is missing out on some huge buffs. Your whole group? Yes, you heard that right. But let's first cover the instant ramen before we tackle the sashimi platter. You get taught the basics during the starting phase of the game. Take out the grill and just roast away. The temporary buffs it gives you are essential. More HP, stamina, attribute increases, and a variety of special bonuses. When starting out, it doesn't really matter what you're cooking. Later on, it has a big impact. In Wilds, you can freely mix and match a lot of different ingredients depending on your build, hunt or goal. You always need 3 of the base ingredients: meat for attack power, fish for defense, or vegetables for a mix of defense and elemental resistance. On top of that, adding an additional ingredient like these mushrooms here and a finishing touch like the honey drizzle not only extends the food's duration, but also gives a skill specific to this item, as well as a random skill on top. So how would this look in practice? For defensive builds, we recommend a fish-based meal to get +3 defense. Add some sharp kunafa cheese for the defender buff, which has a chance to decrease damage taken. And if you're up against a tough enemy, Silt Garlic can be a better choice as it prevents 1 feint. Your team will thank you. Finally, for the finishing touches, choose either Wild Herb, which lessens effects of ailments, or Monster Chili, which negates hot and cold climates, and gives a defense boost on top. For our attackers, you get +2 attack from the meat. Combining this with an airy egg grants you a large temporary attack boost that activates at random intervals. Adding wild seed oil increases the potency of abnormal status attacks like paralysis, which is extremely valuable for multiplayer as Nox explained before. But feel free to try around with the ingredients if you need other buffs. There is a whole lot of them. If this sounds too complicated to set up, there are, of course, alternatives. After meeting certain characters during the main story, they will occasionally invite you to meals. Those have not only amazing cinematics with some of the best food animations out there, but also offer unique effects that last longer than normal. The Kunafa invitation, for example, gives you a strong boost in all main stats for 60 minutes, and the lucky meal effect on top, which gives you a chance to receive more rewards from a quest, similar to the lucky vouchers. The Hot Asus cuisine gives you the carver effect, which gives you a chance to get 1 to 3 extra carves. If you're invited by Tashin in the ruins of Valviria, you will get the Capture Pro meal effect that rewards more loot on capturing monsters. And finally, if you accept an invitation by the Alharken, you get the Exploiter skill, which grants more materials when destroying wounds. What all 4 have in common, and this is the real game changer for playing in multiplayer, is the insurance buff they give you. This is essentially an extra 4th feint your group gets, so keep this in mind for really tough and unpredictable fights. So in summary, whenever you get an invitation, do not let this pass. You will get a notification and there's also an icon on your world map. But as this cannot be timed for when you need it, let's have a look at another great option that arrived with the Grand Hub. The Canteen, which features all 4 regional feasts with the same strong effects as when you are invited. Unfortunately, you need either a specific named voucher or a so-called pick-a-meal voucher. You get these as a login bonus for completing limited bounties at the support desk, as a reward for event and arena quests, and sometimes as a random reward for barrel bowling. It's important to remember that these vouchers do apply to your whole lobby. So if you use them, your friends, squad, or other players in a public lobby can enjoy a free meal too. After all this talking about and looking at digital food, I do envy any one of you not being hungry.
After enjoying all that tasty food, let's take a relaxing stroll through the environment and chat about how to use it to your advantage in battle. At this point, most of you will have come across all types of boulders. Hitting monsters with them feels great. You can squeeze in a lot of damage in one swoop from the impact and also get a safe damage window for the whole group, thanks to the guaranteed knockdown. So you will want to make sure to land that hit. In multiplayer, this can be a bit challenging, as you will need to draw the monster's attention to guide it where you want it to go. So if it continues to run after your bow user while you are positioned below the boulder, you're just losing out on time to slash away. The best way to get the monster to cooperate is using lure pods. Position yourself below the trap and have a mate activated at the best moment. If you want to be extra sure on the timing, place a trap below to fixate it. Wait until just before the floor trap wears off, then hit it with the boulder. This is also a great time to use some damage boosters, like your mantle, demon powder, cooldowns, etc. to have not just 1, but 2 safe damage windows. Every time there's an environmental trap nearby, you get an info on the left side of the screen. If you cannot find it instantly, have a look at the minimap to get a better idea where to look for it. Some fights, like Jinder Heart, require you to save 1 or 2 boulders to survive parts of the fight more safely, so try not to go all out on them each time.
In Wilds, there is no shortage when it comes to communication systems. Voice chat, chats, pings, emotes, shouts, you name it. But there are some ways to customize and optimize your means of communication, especially if you prefer not to use voice comm and still want to enjoy playing with others. Many in-game actions do prompt shoutouts by your hunter. For example, your hunter will shout, "I placed a trap," so your party members know if they have an in-game sound activated, and listen, that is. You can customize these shoutouts if you want to, but it just changes the text. Just make sure you follow Capcom's rules. Insulting each other's pelicos is strictly forbidden. Those shoutouts can be drowned though if your teammates have a lot going on or you get a potion addict on your team. To help with that, you can use some more visual cues that will be harder to ignore. Stickers. You can customize the text on your stickers to try and coordinate certain moves, like trap placements, luring monsters to traps, or expressing your feelings. To customize, go to the Communication tab in the menu and select Stickers. Choose a sticker you like and open the sub-menu, then select Edit Text. Hit Confirm and you're done. For quick access, you can then bind these custom stickers to your radial menu. Oh, and don't mind my custom stickers. Those are just here to roast Nox when he focus strikes all wounds in 0.1 milliseconds again. So just people that actually need a good roasting. What's your favorite sticker and text combination that you made or have seen in-game? But this is how you go from carting to carrying. Welcome to your MVP arc for Monster Hunter Wilds multiplayer. Don't blame us now though if every lobby, squad and all your friends spam invite you from now on. Have fun out there in Wilds with your Palico and friends, and we will see you again in the next one.